excited about teaching about our energy field. It's really important that we start at the foundation. And the foundation of our healing is all about how we connect in our human bodies into this earth. Because as much as it's exciting to talk about spirit and all those sorts of things, it's really difficult to gain clarity and to gain certainty and to feel safe without having a strong foundation. So this video is all about building a foundation. And you may have heard the word grounding before. It's a pretty common term used. But basically, it's a fancy word for how we connect our vessel, our human body, to the earth. So if you were to look at it clairvoyantly through pictures, you would see that everyone has this cord that runs from the base of their spine into the center of the earth. So if you can't see it, and that feels really strange to you that people can see it, don't worry, you don't have to see it. You can just have the intention for it to be there and start to feel the difference in your body. So what is the word intention? Intention is just a fancy word that says, I want this to happen, and I'm going to just focus my energy so that way when I decide that this is what I want, this is what's happening. So it's kind of like an affirmation, declaration, and having your attention on whatever it is that you're intending. It's like having an idea and directing the flow of that idea. So there comes a point at which the clairvoyancy will sort of just kick in, and you'll start to just get it, and you'll start to see things and understand that, oh, I think I've had seeing abilities this whole time. I just didn't realize that that's what it was. So don't put the pressure on yourself in having to see it, but just know that the grounding cord is very easy for you to create for yourself. So you have one already, but sometimes what happens is our grounding cords get damaged. We have so much stuff in our grounding cord that our body actually isn't even grounded anymore. And so we're supposed to be kind of level, grounded, and really we start floating up and up and up and up and up. And then you start to experience all these undesirable emotions or reactions. So what are some of those symptomatic feelings of being ungrounded? They are anxiety, fatigue, cloudy mind, feeling confused, angry, extreme emotions, or reactionary impulses. So some of those things can be indications that your grounding cord is severed or blocked, or something's not quite right in that base of your spine area. And that can happen when there's people around us that really want some good energy, and maybe you feel really good. And so on a subconscious level where they're not really aware of what they're doing, they're running their energy into your grounding cord and trying to ground through you. And so over time, we get really stuffed up with other people's energy. Sometimes it's our own stuff. Sometimes we have so much heavy things that we're carrying around energetically that our grounding cord gets blocked. So it doesn't really matter whether it's you or it's somebody else, but the grounding cord just gets frayed and damaged and blocked, and then things really aren't flowing in our body the way that they could be. Oftentimes when I have clients that come to me, they will usually say, I'm experiencing a lot of anxiety. I don't really know why. And when I start to look at them as an energetic imprint, I see in the base of their spine, they've got all this static energy they picked up from technology or from walking in a busy city. They've got their parents' energy, they've got their coworkers' energy, they've got their friends' energy, they've got their own stuff that their body is trying to let go of from childhood, all jammed in this cord that's not big enough to let all of that through, and so they're not able to access it fully, and it's like having a clogged pipe. So that can start to manifest as feeling uncertain, feeling unsafe, feeling like you don't know what you really want. Like there's just this confusion and this sense that people's bodies start to say, oh, I have anxiety. So it's not always the case. There's so many reasons for anxiety, of course, but people really feel better when I help them move that energy out of their space and then their anxiety starts to dial down. So they really feel the difference, and that's amazing because just by doing that, they get some relief. So part of grounding importance is that you're getting people's energy out of your space so you can have access to your own energy field. It's just connecting you to your own higher self and your own source of clarity. So it will affect your decisions and your thinking or your feeling, and it's difficult sometimes to realize that that's happening to us because we just get so used to operating that way that it's become part of who we think we are. For many of us who are extremely sensitive, we grew up with this level of sensitivity. We grew up managing this kind of chaos in our space all the time. So when you stumble on this information and you start to apply it to your daily practice, it becomes a life-changing tool. It becomes something that changes you in a way where you feel like you're suddenly in the power seat instead of being a victim to everything all of the time. The ripple effect of being grounded affects yourself, and it also affects those around you. So grounding is super important, and everything kind of funnels off of that grounding. So if you were to, let's say, start at the top of the head, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but things would kind of be flying all over the place in the energy field without going straight down the pipe. So it's really important that you kind of just start from the bottom and the base of the spine in order to really feel the difference, and then everything that you work from there starts to go down that space so it has a place to go, and it's not just funneling out into the aura and getting kind of stuck out here or out here. You want it to go straight down like a waterfall. So now that we've covered why it's important to ground, let's get into how to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit in a chair or sit on the floor with your legs crossed, but either way, don't lay down for this one just while we're getting started. It's not bad to lay down in the future, but for now, it's really easier to feel and kind of sense and see the grounding cord when you're in a seated position. So find a place to sit, and all you're going to do is you're going to close your eyes, you're going to take a couple deep breaths. So inhale, exhale, let it all out. Inhale again, exhale. Good, one more. Inhale, exhale. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand, doesn't matter whether it's your left or your right hand, and you're going to imagine that you're just grabbing the energy that's right below the base of your spine. So since you're sitting, imagine that below your butt in the chair, there's a cord going into the ground. So you're going to take your hand and you're going to just energetically just grab it and you're going to toss it. So just grab it, toss it. You can even just visualize it in your head. You don't have to use your hand, but for some of us, it's like we want to have like a tangible thing we're doing. So for me, I usually just sit, breathe for a second, and then I just imagine grabbing it and tossing it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to give yourself a new grounding cord. So there's no right or wrong way to create a grounding cord. The point is that your intention, so your confidence and your conviction in doing this energetically will allow it to happen. So that's why the visualizations and the creative ways that you bring to the table really don't matter. So it's just all about the preference. So don't get stuck on there's a right way to do a grounding cord or there's a wrong way to do a grounding cord. I'm just offering suggestions of things that I've learned, things that I've taught people that seem to work really well. So for a grounding cord visualization, after you dump the grounding cord that's no longer working for you and you create a new one, it can look like a trunk of a tree. So something that is like a tube also works. You could do a pipe, you could do a big rope. Some people like to do chains and kind of lock it into the earth. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. But what you want to do is play with the width of it. So rather than having it like this skinny little rope, have it be like the width of your hips down. So imagine that it's just extending from your base of your spine, so your butt area and your tailbone, and have it just go straight into the center of the earth. Don't worry about having to visualize the center of the earth. Just have the intention that it's grounding and start to feel in your body if you feel any difference when you do that. You can even play with cutting that one, create a new one, cut that one, create a new one, until you start to really feel in your body. And maybe for you, it's easier to close your eyes and really sit and breathe and tune into that. Maybe you want to just be fully present in this video, do it while we're talking here. That's totally fine too. Again, no rules. I just think that it's important to give you guys the freedom to really just flow with your personality without feeling forced into doing something a particular way. So for me, I personally gravitate towards trees. So I love the idea of having this tree trunk rooting into the earth, and that I am like the base, sitting on the base of the tree. So I personally like that. So what you want to do is you want to just start to notice if you feel anything. Notice if you can have permission to release everything out of your grounding cord that no longer serves you. So let's do that together. So we're going to just breathe and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We're just going to gently take the grounding cord and we're going to say, higher self, please release everything that is no longer serving me. And just imagine that everything that's in your space that doesn't belong to you, that is no longer anything that you need, is going down that grounding cord and into the center of the earth. So in a circumstance where you're around somebody that's difficult to be around, or maybe they're very emotional and they like to kind of throw their energy at you and make you feel sick, or somebody that just triggers you in a certain way, it could be a coworker, a friend, a parent, a teacher, it doesn't matter. But just next time you're in that situation and you go,
oh gosh, I'm starting to feel really sick, or oh man, I'm starting to feel how difficult it is to be next to this person.
Whatever it is. Or maybe you're just going through your own personal stuff of like, I feel like I'm losing my shit, I feel crazy,
I feel anxiety, I feel fear.
Then just grab that grounding cord, toss it, give yourself a new one, and then breathe and just let yourself feel the difference. So you can try it even when you're standing next to somebody and they don't know that you're doing it. You can excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, and bring more awareness to it, and closing your eyes and being able to really tune in. Because guess what? When you're sitting on the toilet,
you're sitting in the same seating position we're doing right now.
So, super convenient. You can really do this multiple times a day and start to really notice how different you feel. And maybe for you, there's an expectation for it to clear everything and things aren't leaving, and you're gonna go,
well, why when I do the grounding cord does it still feel like things are stuck in my chest?
Why does it feel like my head still hurts?
So we're gonna get into that and reasons why that happens, but for now, you have the foundation of what you need to start with, and so that is key, and you can do a lot with this. You can even help other people ground. You can imagine grabbing somebody else's grounding cord and creating a new one for them, and see if maybe suddenly somebody who's so frantic and can't think suddenly has this like grounded appearance. It's possible. It doesn't work for everybody, but hey, it's worth a shot, right? So now that you've learned how to ground, we're going to talk about how to bring the earth energy up the body and how to bring the cosmic energy down into the body. So the two will blend together and create this really beautiful symbiotic connection in the body that just starts to purify and clear our energy field without any effort. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned, click on the next video. Okay, bye!
We remember.
Hello, YouTube. Okay. So there's night. Bleh. There's. God, what is the word? Pipe. That's the word.
Yay!
Did I just like sneeze snot all over my film? I'm pretty sure I did. That's cute.